Mortgage for our first house. This is Group 3, Hunter Gore, Caleb Vaughn, Jacob Souza, Matt Kolb, Paul Thompson, and Quinn McCartney. The house we chose to finance after graduation in Clemson is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom property, which is relatively new as it was built in 2017. The sales price for this house is $329,900. Some notable features on the property include an attached garage, a corner land parcel, and a screened-in porch. We chose this property because of location. It's close to Clemson University, but not in the business of traffic or students. It is also very close in proximity to the South Carolina Botanical Gardens, which provides parks surrounded by nature. Much like other properties in Clemson, Lake Hartwell is also close and accessible. We also wanted to select a house that was not very expensive relative to other properties in Clemson, since we are recently graduating students starting our professional careers. Thus, we don't have the excess income to afford a larger, more expensive house.
Regarding the financing on the house, we have a 20% down payment, which comes out to be $65,980, therefore making our loan amount $263,920. We have two assumptions for this. First being a $75,000 salary a year, and the second being a savings rate of 15%, which would make it around, which would take us 5.86 years to save up enough for our down payment. And using the Federal Housing Finance Agency's financing limits map tool, we found out the mortgage limit in Pickens County to be $584,250, therefore making our loan amount of $263,920 significantly less than the FHFA stipulations, therefore making it valid.
After talking with the broker, we were determined to look at the 3 types of credit scores from 3 different levels of 640, 670 between 739, and then 740 between 799. Now, looking at these levels, we see that we have a 3% interest rate, but what would cost the lender an eighth of a point, or you'd have a 2.875 interest rate, which would cost the lender a half of a point. And then finally, you would have a 2.75% interest rate, which would cost the lender a full point. Now, if we look at these 3 levels, we see that through all of these, you'll see the same pricing and the same interest rates. And this is the reason is the 15-year pricing does not pay a close attention to credit score as compared to 30 years. So there will be no hits for the 15-year income. And then we looked at it if it was ready to move in or not. And these did not make any changes to the pricing in any way whatsoever. Now, when we determined our 30-year mortgage that we would best suit us, we decided that the interest rate would be 3.625%. The cost of the lender would cost an eighth of a point, and the monthly payment would be a $1,531. And continuing to talk with the mortgage banker, we were going to look at the fees applied to all of this, and this would be the eighth of a point that would be charged to us would be around $330. The commitment fee for it would be $955. The appraisal fee would be around $600. The credit report would be about $95. Homeowner's insurance, the premium, would be around $924. Prepaid interest would be about $106. Homeowner's insurance would be $231. Property taxes would be $1750. And then the title insurance would finally equal $100.
So just to give a brief overview of this estimate sheet and touch on some other important details about it, we can see that in the projected payment section in the middle on the left, you can see that the monthly payment is broken into the principal and interest of $1,203 and escrow payments of $327. Right below that, you can see that monthly taxes are also $327 a month. And below that is the estimated closing cost, which is $6,826. That includes a $3,620 in loan costs and $3,206 in other costs with no lender fees. Below that is the cash needed to bring to closing, which is $67,806. And in the calculating cash to close section on the bottom right, you can see that the earnest money is $5,000, which is already credited towards closing costs. It is also worth noting that this is a fixed rate conventional loan, and I think that should just about cover this loan estimate sheet.
So now that we've taken a look at the loan estimate sheet, we actually have in front of us an amortization chart and table, which will help show us how much we are paying every month toward interest, principal, and how much of a balance we have remaining on this property. So when we take a look at the top and middle of the chart, we have specifically the loan amount in present value, the interest rate, number of payment per period, and the total interest paid. So we have our loan amount of $263,920. The interest rate, which was the 3.625%, divided by 12 months to give us an interest rate per month of 0.30%. And the number of payments are 360 because there are 30 years and 12 months in a year, 360 payments. Our total payment per period is noted in the breakdown of the CD and the slide before is $1,203.60 with a total interest being paid of $169,377.68. So we can see right below that the actual chart and table that goes into details. When we look at the chart from left to right, we see the periods is going to be first on the left-hand side, which are going to detail the number of periods throughout the life of the loan. When we see the periods, we can also see what the correlating payment amount was in the column right beside it, which is the $1,203.60 every month, which will be continuous and not change throughout the life of the loan. We will also see the interest column, which will show the total amount of interest paid in that period from that payment amount. So we can see at the very top of that chart, we can see we are just shy of $800 at $797.25 in interest. And as we can see over time, the more payments that are being made during more periods, that interest amount is going to go down to zero ultimately at the end of the loan. On the next column right beside that, we can also see the cumulative interest, which will detail the total amount of interest paid from every period current and every past period as well, giving us our total interest paid at the end of the life of the loan of $169,377. To the next column to the right, we can also see the principal. Very similar to interest, the principal will show us the amount from the payment amount every period that is going toward principal. So as we can see, we start out with just north of 400 at $406.36. And this amount in principal will continue to go up every period throughout the life of the loan until we get to the full $1,203.60 at the end of the life of the loan there at payment number 360. We can also see the principal paid, which very similar to cumulative interest will show the amount in principal we have paid every period. And so, for example, we can see at the end of period 12, at our full year, we've paid in about $4,958 worth in principal. And the next column to the very right-hand side is the principal balance showing us how much is left to pay from the original loan amount. If we take a look at the two graphs right up above that, the graph on the right-hand side actually shows a breakdown of the interest versus principal and what happens with those two over the life of the loan. We can see the red line is the interest, starting right about $800 and goes down over the life of the loan. Principal starts right about $400 is the green line and goes up, and we can see there's an intersection of somewhere between about payment 131 or 132, I believe, where those payments are going to intersect. And this covers our amortization table from our annual monthly, or excuse me, from a monthly payment of $1,203.60.
So some important things that we want to take away going through this process is that making a mortgage decision is a huge decision and requires a lot of research about market rates and everything else that's going on in the market. It's also important to look at comparable properties that are in the area to make sure that you are getting what you want, getting all aspects of the property that you desire, and that you're getting a good value. Another important thing to note is that as of right now, The market interest rates are at the lowest they've been in a long time. So it's a great time to get a mortgage, and mortgage decisions are weighted heavily on the market as well as the credit and FICO scores. Some skills that we will use once we graduate are comparing the mortgages from different lenders so we know that we're getting the best that we can, working on a credit score to make sure that we get the best rate possible, and calculating the monthly payments, giving the mortgage amount and the interest rate. It is also important to look and compare at different houses so we can get the most bang for our buck. And right now, it's really important for us to pay attention to our budgets and savings goal so that we won't have to wait a given 6 years, as mentioned in prior slides, to afford the house that we want. And the other thing is, there's so many resources on the market right now that it is important to use every single one of those resources to make sure that you're getting the best rates, the best mortgage, and everything possible to work out in your favor for that sort of mortgage that you're getting. Now, we want to finish this off just saying that we took the time and had a great time looking for a mortgage for this house, and hopefully one day we'll be able to buy a house soon. Thank you.